PCGS Ultra Breaks is about to pop again, and I'm going to talk to you again about whether it's good for you to buy or not, because this time it's a little bit different, and I feel like it's really worth discussing more so than the one I did before. And we'll get into that in just a second. But I am going to be buying packs to open this coming week. In 3 days, I'm going to be buying packs, and I'm going to be opening them up. At least one. I might buy two. If I'm really feeling crazy, I might get three. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to at least open one of those in a video coming up. But for now, I wanted to tell y'all about what's actually happening in this pack and run the numbers and statistics, see if it's actually something you want to purchase or not, help you think about buying these, and assess whether I think it's a good deal based on how much it costs and what's in the packs. That being said, PCGS Ultra Breaks is kind of a mystery pull thing where it's kind of like a card pack for coins. You open it up, you get one coin, you could get something that's not worth as much as you paid, you could get something that's worth a lot more than you paid. But there's a catch to this as well. It's not just about the coin in the pack, it's about the color of the label, because there's rare labels where you have these basic ones, you have Gold Rush labels that are a little bit more, they're a lot more rare than the Ultra labels, the common ones, and you have these really rare labels that are the Infinity labels, and they're like holographic. And Ultra Breaks puts a strong emphasis on those labels as being really, really rare and desirable. And we're going to assess whether that's actually the case as well in this video, so stay tuned for that near the end. This particular one, they're actually going to be having a flag slab on it as well, so that's a little more rare than the common one, but not super rare either. They're pretty common as well. Also, I want to mention Ultra Breaks partners with affiliates who really hype up what they're doing.
Biggest thing to happen to numismatics and coin collecting ever.
They really just kind of push Ultra Breaks. They even open up packs on the day of release, so they already have them. They've already been given those by Ultra Breaks, and they open them up and show you what they got and really get you to try and go buy Ultra Breaks. And they all have an affiliate link where they try and push you through that link so they get a cut of the pay as well.
All it does is give me a small kickback and, of course, a small commission. So
if you watch these channels, they don't have anything bad to say about them. I honestly haven't heard any of them say, oh man, I got a horrible deal on this. This is worth way less than what I paid. I just hear them say, oh, I didn't quite get what I wanted. Everything's great. Basically getting money through affiliate marketing in the process of this by people going through your link to buy the packs. I mean, yeah, who would blame them for not complaining about it? But that's pretty much a rundown of what Ultra Breaks is. So now let's start assessing what's in the packs and whether it's a good deal or not for this particular pack coming out from Ultra Breaks. So for this particular drop, Ultra Breaks is offering 4,012 packs for a retail price of $149.95 per pack, and I'm guessing that's going to include shipping as well. Since there is gold in some of these packs, I want to mention that the gold and silver spot prices are based off of January the 28th close of day numbers, but of the over 4,000 packs, 2,500 of them are going to have a 2025 American Silver Eagle in mint state 70 condition graded by PCGS. Of that 2,500, 1,725 of them will have the standard Ultra label. There will be 500 flag core labels, which is pretty much a regular label with a flag on it. Woo! There'll be 250 Gold Rush labels and 25 Infinity labels. That's the holographic one that's supposedly super rare. There'll also be 1,500 of the 2024 American Silver Eagles with the star Privy on it. And there are 835 in the Ultra labels, 500 in the flag core labels, once again, regular label, just with the flag, 150 Gold Rush labels, and 15 Infinity labels. But despite the theme of this being Privy Power and all about the Privy marked Eagles, the Chase coin is not a Privy marked Eagle. It's 12 of the 2025 $50 gold pieces. I mean, that's an ounce of gold. That's at least a full ounce of gold, but still, it doesn't have a Privy mark on it, but it's Privy Power. I feel like this lot would be more appropriately named some gold coins, really common ass eagles, and some ones with Privy marks on them. But anyway, the $50 gold eagles, we're going to have 9 of those with a Gold Rush label and 3 of them with Infinity label. And once again, Ultra Breaks is relying on an Alabamian to help them with math. God help them, because they put that there are 2 Infinity labels and 9 Gold Rush labels, but they have a total of 12. That don't math, I'm just saying. And when you go over to their odds page, they don't even have the gold listed on there yet. So I don't know what's going on at Ultra Breaks, but they gotta start checking those numbers. So there'll be a total of 12 there, which, I mean, that's 12 ounces of gold. That's a substantial amount of money there. But just because it's a substantial amount of money doesn't necessarily mean it's a good deal, so let's look at the other numbers. Now, looking at the base coin values, just what the coins are worth, because I believe in the old adage, buy the coin, not the slab, and definitely not the color of the holder, the American Silver Eagle 2025 in an MS70 is a CPG value of $60. 60 bucks, okay? That's going to be 2,500 of the coins have a CPG of 60 bucks. How much can you actually buy those for? You can buy them right now on eBay for about $55, maybe even a little bit less if you kind of shop it around a little bit. But from the big retailers on eBay, you can pick up that coin for $55 all day right now. The 1,500 2024 Privy marked American Silver Eagles in a mint state 70, that coin has a CPG of $130. Okay, hold up for 1 second here. Before I even say anything else, notice that the price of the pack is $149.95, yet the CPG value of the main coin they're advertising for this pack is $20 less. That's CPG. And as of today, January the 28th, you can go on eBay and pay $109 from some of the major retailers on there for one of these Eagles in a PCGS Mint State 70 without the shiny labels. So literally 4,000 of the 4,012 coins in this offering have a retail value of lower than the cost of the pack. Oh my gosh. So that means 4,000 of 4,012 people will lose money on the coin. Now we're going to get into a little bit about the labels in a minute, but if you're just looking at the coin itself, you can literally go and buy 4,000 of the 4,012 coins in this offering for less than what Ultra Breaks is charging for this mystery pull pack. Now this is not only mind-blowing to me, it's a little bit disgusting because I haven't even bought the pack yet, and I already know that there is an astronomical chance that I have a coin that I pull out of that pack that's worth less than what I paid for it right off the rip. And the only way any of those coins are going to have any substantial value more than that to it is if I put value in the color of the label that PCGS put on it. So in case you're not doing that math in your head right away, that means that 99.7% of these packs have a coin in them that the coin itself is worth less than the value of the pack itself, and about 62% of these packs have a coin that's only worth about 45% of the cost of one of these packs. That means that unless you put value in those labels, 99.7% of people who buy these packs automatically lose. And all they had to do to actually get one of these coins in an MS70 grade, even a first release, early release, all that kind of stuff, for less than the cost of one of these packs, is go to eBay and pay a full buck buy it now price from some of the sellers on there, or even wait a minute and wait for one to come to auction and get an even cheaper price than that. So we haven't even talked about the gold yet, but already I'm regretting the fact that I'm going to be buying one of these packs in 3 days from now just to be able to open it up and show you what we get. But as I said, the Chase coin is not a Privy. It's a 1 ounce $50 gold eagle. And that coin, a CPG in an MS70, which is full buck retail, is $3,550. However, you can buy them right now on eBay for about $500 less than that, at about $3,054 as of today. So, I mean, that's nice. And that's definitely a big bump for somebody who paid $149 for a pack. But remember, that's only 12. That's 0.3% of the people who bought these packs are going to get an automatic super cool win. This feels like the biggest gamble I've seen come out of any of these mystery packs that I've looked at so far, because literally you have a 0.3% chance that the coin, the actual coin you have in the pack, is worth more than you spent on the pack itself. Gosh, this is rough, Ultra Breaks. What the heck? I don't get it. And for those who need a comparison on this, in roulette, hitting any one single number on that board is a 2.7% chance, which is almost 9 times higher than this pack. Not to mention it has a much better payout. From a strictly retail coin value perspective, your odds are literally better putting it all on 17 than buying one of these Ultra Breaks packs. Now just look and see what they're charging and what CPG and what you could buy them on eBay for would compare to. At least we can get a better perspective if we look at the overall collection and compare what the total amount they're charging collectors, the total amount it's worth, and the total amount of what you could actually buy all of these coins for if you were to get them for the prices of what you could get them for on eBay right now. Ultra Breaks is charging collectors a total of $601,597.40 for all 4,012 coins. So if every single one of these is sold to a collector, then it would total up to that. They give some of these ahead of time to their affiliate people who are promoting it and hyping this up online to open up as they're being released. Anyway, so we can guesstimate that probably a handful of those are going to be opened up ahead of time. I would think it's a small amount because I've only really seen about 4 or 5 people, at least in my YouTube circle of watching, that are opening these up ahead of time and promoting this kind of stuff. But since we don't know how many they're actually just giving away to their affiliates, let's just go with the full number. If they sold every single one of these at the retail price of $149.95 a piece, they would have $601,597.40 worth of income from this. Now, full retail value on these coins, $387,600. They are 55% over CPG retail. 55%. But it gets even worse with eBay prices, because if you were able to purchase this many coins from eBay at the current value prices that you can buy one right now at, it would be $337,684 in value. That means they are 78% over what you can buy the coins at for the value they're being offered at on eBay. I know people are going to be saying, but the labels are rare. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll talk about the labels. But remember, the other companies, Brick and Vault Box, they're nowhere near those premiums. They're nowhere near that. Witter was like, what, 7.5%? The Vault Box I looked at was somewhere in the 5-ish range. It was hard to tell because it was shipwreck notes and retail values on those are not solid. So it was a little washy. But I'll have a new Vault Box video coming up pretty soon after this one when we get the Vault Box that's coming out this next week, and so we'll be able to actually assess those numbers, get a more solid view of what their retail value is compared to what they're charging. But this is astronomically higher than those other offerings. I mean, for however much you might dislike from the video I posted how crappy the pulls could have gotten in Brick was at least close in their overall offering to a CPG value or a retail value on their coins, with a margin there for for logistics or whatever. And as I've said in the other videos, I don't expect these companies to just offer these at strict retail numbers, because there's a lot of logistics that go into it. There's packaging, there's advertising, there's all sorts of things they have to do. A lot of time and effort goes into making these. So asking a little bit over retail, I really don't fault them for that personally. But 7 or 8 times what other companies are doing, where you get up into 55% over a retail value,
that's nuts.
I'm assuming that what they're doing is trying to build in the scarcity of those rare labels they advertise. Because remember, that's the whole selling point. These have rare PCGS labels you can't get anywhere else, and there's only a few of each of these coins. They're going to have that rare holographic infinity label on it. But if you think that's bad, check out this new metric I'm working on. Now, this is a little bit complicated, but follow along with my logic here. 88.73% of these slabs are ultra labels or the flag slab thingies. So 88.73%, we can estimate are going to be valued around CPG. The flag labels might do a little bit more, but realistically, probably not much more. And when you look at a true market value, I bet the flag labels are probably going to do around CPG, and the other ones are going to do under. So I think valuing those at CPG is perfectly fair. So the retail value of those coins, the 88%, which will be valued at probably a retail value, is about $307,050, leaving us with $80,550 remaining for all of the Gold Rush and Infinity label coins for the retail value of the coins. So what we're doing here is figuring out what the premium Ultra Breaks is really factoring in for those rare labels on these coins. And so what would these coins have to perform on the market on average, these Gold Rush and Infinity labels, for them to be a break-even value on the cost of all of these packs from Ultra Breaks? Well, seeing as though this $80,550 of rare label coins has to make up for the $294,547.40 remaining of the value that Ultra Breaks has put on these packs when they charge you for them, the Gold Rush, which never performs super strong on the market, but they do better, and the Infinity labels together would have to do an average of 3 times their retail value just to get us even close to that value of what Witter and Vaultbox were doing, where they're about 7% over CPG. Now, since there is no objective value for what the color of the label is on these slabs, I can't break that down between the Infinity and Gold from there. So what that means is that collectors are not getting these rare labels as a bonus on top of the coins. They're paying for them, and strongly, when they buy these packs from Ultra Breaks. And when I run that on eBay, it looks even worse, because it would be 4.78 times their retail value for those Gold labels and Infinity labels to get to the value that Ultra Breaks is charging, and that's just crazy. To make that make sense for you, if the Gold labels and the Infinity labels perform the same, then the Gold Eagles would have to sell, all of them would have to sell for an average of over $12,000 a piece for the retail value of these coins to be realized in what they're charging their customers for all of these packs. And I can't see that Gold Eagle going for 12 grand each. Maybe those top 3 might go for high numbers like that, but you tell me those Gold labels are gonna, those Gold Rush labels are gonna go for over 12 grand a piece as well? I don't believe it. And I've actually got a data point to back that up, because the only gold coin that I could find in an Infinity label that's actually sold on the market was the Ultra Breaks Lunar Dragon 1 of 1 Gold Australian half ounce in the 70 Infinity label, and it sold for $4,500. It sold in December, but what's concerning is it actually underperformed a previous comp on one of the Gold Rush labels. The sale was in August, but it really draws into question the stability of these labels with their premiums and where the market's going on it. So we do have twice the gold, but we have 3 times more Infinity labels out there, so it's a third of the rarity. So how on earth are we supposed to get 3 times this number, even though it has double the gold, but a third of the rarity? I don't see those numbers happening. And as I said, that's an average if the Gold labels pull those same crazy numbers. So my point here is, if you think you're buying a chance to get the coin and the labels are just a bonus, you absolutely are wrong. The collectors who are buying these packs are collectively paying for the rarity of these labels as well, as assessed by Ultra Breaks, and we can see that Ultra Breaks values the rarity of these labels very, very highly. And when we talk about the rarity of these labels, remember, it's not rare because it just happens to be something that's not made a lot of, or it happens to be something that was rejected by the market, so there's just not many of them out there. These are rare because PCGS and Ultra Breaks are making them rare. They're not rare because of some genuine scarcity to them. They're rare because they want them to be rare so that they can charge these crazy numbers for these labels. And they're not getting rarer, they're getting more common. I actually have a spreadsheet of a running total of how many Gold Rush and Infinity labels have been made by Ultra Breaks, and every time they come out with a new one, I just tack the numbers onto it, and it's getting up there. To date, there are 3,000 288 Gold Rush labels, and there are 381 Infinity labels across all the different coins. Sure, this particular coin might have only 1, 2, 5, in some cases 20 Infinity labels for that particular coin, but nonetheless, there are still 381 of those labels out there. There's no end in sight to how many there are going to be, because as long as they're able to just print money by making these labels different colors, they're going to keep doing it probably. So when it's all said and done, how many Infinity labels are actually going to be on the market? How many Gold Rush labels are going to be on the market? And 20 years down the road, how are people going to look at these gimmicky labels that add no value to the coin? It's just a different color label. And are they really going to see that as something that really adds that much value to these coins? But let's look at some numbers of what's actually sold recently on the market, because I keep saying that, but let's actually look at it and see if I'm actually telling you the truth. Let's start out with this Wonder Woman. It was a 1 of 12. That is astronomically rarer for a Gold Rush label than what we see in the silver coins we have. But this one sold for $295, normally $85, which is a 3.47 times retail value. And I have to put claimed on here because Ultra Breaks didn't publish any odds on what you can actually get in the pop culture, so no telling how many Gold Rush or Infinities exist. Looking at this 2021 CC Morgan dollar, it did $399, CPG is $300, but it's a 1 of 20. Oh my gosh, we have one that's literally more than 10 times that common for a Gold Rush label, and this one only pulled 1.33 times retail value, or 33% over retail. It was even a buy it now, so it sat there probably for a minute before it got sold as well. Next up, a 2024 Proof Silver Eagle. It sold for $250. It had a $100 CPG, still more significantly rare than we see on the labels for this one, but it only sold for 2.5 times retail value. Last Gold Rush, we have a 2024 Morgan dollar. It's 1 of 100, only sold for $249. CPG is $175. That's 1.4 times retail value, or 40% over retail. So it did not do so hot for a 1 of 100, seeing as though we have 150 and 250 for the numbers that we're going to have in this offer. Now let's do some Infinity labels. We have a 2024 James Bond Casino Royale. Sold for $510, average price was $95, so it's 5.3 times retail value, which is pretty solid, but again, we don't know how many there are. This could even be the only one. Next up, the most solid one I've seen, a 2023 Muhammad Ali that sold for $800. There's no comps, but I'm guessing it's probably a $100 coin since they sell for like 50 raw, but it's a claim to be 1 of 1. It was a buy it now, and it did 8 times as a buy it now. A 1 of 1, only single one, 2021D Morgan, sold for $10.45. That's under CPG. Oh my gosh, with 19 bids, this one went true auction, and unfortunately the market rejected it as a only single one in an Infinity label for this particular coin on a really solid US coin, because they're hard to get in 70 for 2021D. I don't know what to say apart from nobody valued that label on that coin. Now, the market a year ago and even like 7 months ago was stronger on these Ultra Breaks labels, but I don't see that right now. So having the valuation they do of the overall value of it based on what they're asking people to pay for them versus what the retail value of the base coins are, and seeing these numbers of what real sales have done recently, makes me very concerned for buyers of these sets that they're not going to collectively get their value back out of them, even with those better coins. I really, really doubt that's going to happen. What if we did this? Let's run a hypothetical scenario. Remember, there are 250 of the 2025 ASEs in the Gold Rush labels. There are 25 of the Infinities. That's not rare. There's quite a few of those out there. There are 150 of the Privy marked ASEs in the Gold Rush labels, and there's 15 of them in the Infinity labels. That's also not that scarce. We're not talking about like 2 or 3. We're talking 15 and 25 in those Infinity labels. That's a lot. So based on our comps, what if the market values these really, really solid despite them having a higher quantity? What if they go solid? Then what if we had 2.5 times on the ASE Gold Rush, 6 times on those Infinities, on the 2024 Privies, so we have a 3 time on the Gold Rush and 8 time on the Infinities. And for those gold coins, what if we had the Gold Rush do 3 times and the Infinity do 5 times? Well, you see the numbers of what they would have to hit on the right, and what would that equal up to? It would give us $251,950 above for the that would give us $251,950 for these rarer labels in the above scenario. And the difference between that and the remainder from all of those rarer labels that we had on what they charged that we did earlier is $42,597. That would finally put us in the range of the Witter Brick and the Vault Box at 7%, not over CPG, but over what the market would value these coins at if they hit these multipliers. As we've seen from past sales history, I don't really think this is realistic, but this is the type of scenario you'd have to see to be able to have collectors pull their value back out of these coins. Something where you see this kind of multiplication going on. I don't know where these numbers would go when they actually go to market, because guess what? It's all up to what somebody values the color of that label at and the scarcity of it. So it's really hard to say. But the silver eagles even seem a little bit high based on what I've seen for the number of eagles that are going into those labels. I mean, 25 and 15 in the Infinity labels is not really rare. And then when you get into the gold, we're talking about crazy, crazy premiums on an extremely common coin just because of the label, and you can't tell me that it's actually worth that for sure, and I highly doubt they would ever actually reach those numbers. And one more note before I get off this high horse about rarity and these labels, gold is something that has such a high intrinsic value because of spot price that it's not something that rarity really compounds. There are some really, really low mintage and rare gold pieces that don't have a lot of premium over melt value, if any at all. In fact, we melted a rare gold medal last week that had a mintage of 205. That's right, 205, because I couldn't get anything over melt value out of it. Just because something doesn't have a lot of them out there doesn't mean it commands extreme premiums. I even shopped it around to 2 different people who like collecting rare metals from that country, and I couldn't get either one of them to pay me over melt for that rare 205 mintage metal. So I had to scrap it because I couldn't even move it to the people who were motivated to get it. When gold is $2,700 and something an ounce, you have so much already built into that value of the coin just by spot price that premiums just evaporate. They don't exponentially increase, they just go away. That's why so many numismatic rarities end up getting melted in lower grades, and even common date really nice gold pieces get melted because there's no premium left in them when spot gets this high. And you've got to find somebody who wants to drop $3,000 on gold just to buy that particular piece. So Ultra Breaks, you're telling me that the rarity of the label 4x's its value, but the coin itself, even if it was significantly rarer, wouldn't even come remotely close to that? That's absolutely asinine. It's making me mad, honestly. Even if you put some value on them, that amount of value added into these packs because of the label color is absolutely taking advantage of the market and taking advantage of people who can't do math. I'm sorry, that's what it is. If you're getting hyped up about these slabs because of these labels, they're charging you for them, and I really hope you like spending that much money on the labels because y'all are all collectively paying for it, me included this time, because I bought one to show you how they look. So unless Ultra Breaks thinks that those silver coins are going to compound even more so than my overinflated prices, it seems like Ultra Breaks is charging collectors the premiums of 2020 West Point V75 Privy Proof Gold Eagles for these common coins just because they have a super cool colored label on them. You can't tell me that these coins with this label are going to do the money of a 2020 West Point V75 Privy Proof Eagle, which had a mintage of 1,945 just because you put this stupid label on it, Ultra Breaks. That's absolutely crazy. It makes me mad, honestly. I can understand charging a premium on your coins because of the fact you put a rare label on it, I mean, even a small one. I think it's a gimmick. I can understand that. But these premiums are egregious. They're unacceptable. There's no way that all the collectors who purchase these coins will collectively ever be able to get the amount of money out of it that is put into it. This is absolutely ridiculous, and they should be ashamed for asking that much money for it. In my opinion, there's no way they have that much overhead or that much value in those labels to be able to charge that much money over CPG for these coins, especially when most of them are going to hit retail numbers and nothing above it for those flag ones, the regular ultra labels. The Gold Rush labels sure will pull a little bit more money, absolutely. That's what they're doing on the market right now because of the scarcity that's being created by them, and the Infinities will do well. It's what they end up doing. But sales history does not support these type of values that would get the value of these coins up to a place where collectors will collectively get the money back out of it that was put into it when they were purchased. That's just the way it is. Look at the data. I'm going to say the same thing I say with every single one of these. Do what you want with your money in your collection. If this is something you want to have fun with and you think this is something you want to buy, I'm not going to tell you not to do it because it's your money and it's your collection. I mean, I'm going to buy at least one, not for my collection interest because I have no interest in gambling on coins. I like to buy the coin for the price that I want to buy it at instead of trying to figure out if I'm going to get a good deal or not. I'm going to buy it so that I can show y'all what it's actually like to open them up and see if it's something you want to do with your money. However, that being said, looking at how much Ultra Breaks is charging for their packs versus Witterbrick and Vault Box, I do not think the numbers support this being in the same category as those other two mystery pulled packs. I really just don't. The inflation of the cost for all of the collective coins over retail values for me is a killer. You're literally paying for the label premiums that they assess them to be, which seems really darn high when you buy these packs. So you're not getting those rare labels as a bonus, you're paying for them all the way. On top of that, in this particular group of coins, only 12 of the coins out of 4,012 of them have a value where the coin itself is over the cost of the pack. I mean, I could understand if they kind of, balanced it out some, but this one just feels sloppy. I mean, what the heck is going on? All you have to do is look at sales history and what you can buy them for and realize that this is really, really risky where you have a less than 1% chance. In fact, less than 0.5% chance because it's 0.3% chance of getting something worth more in itself, like the coin itself, than your money. And yes, there are some other labels that could boost that above. I'm not going to discredit that because the market is still holding some of these strong. Not always, as we've seen, but some of these are still going strong in the Infinity labels, especially when they go buy it now and not auction, because it doesn't seem like we can get multiple people at any given time to agree to push them all the way up all the time. But if you could get one of those Infinity labels for the lesser ones, it could boost it over that retail price that you paid. I don't see the Gold Rush labels doing the same thing all the time necessarily, so maybe that Gold Rush for the Privy could actually boost you over. The Gold Rush for the 2025, I don't necessarily see it doing that. Maybe if it did do 2.5 times, it could work, but I don't necessarily see that in the cards either with so many of them out there because there's 250 of those popping out. And really, realistically, the Gold Rush for the Privy might not even do it either because there's 150 of those coming out. That's a lot, and we don't see strong numbers on Gold Rush labels when there's a lot of them coming out. It just doesn't happen. Even when there's only a few of them, we don't see a really strong market on those necessarily. So that's my assessment of it. I really feel like there's a lot of focus on the label on the holder. So it's not even buying the coin, it's not even buying the holder for the grade, it's buying the label for the holder for the coin, which is 2 steps removed from what I actually want to be buying, which is the coin. So it's not my cup of tea to buy for my collection. As I said, I'll still buy them so y'all can see me lose money. If this video helped you out in thinking about whether Ultra Breaks is right for you to buy, I would greatly appreciate a like, especially since I'm going to be losing some money probably next week. Also, if you want to see more videos like this where I review these box pulls, talk about what you can get, and whether it might be worth your money or not, I would greatly appreciate you subscribing and hitting the notification button so you'll be notified when I post new content. Thanks for watching the video, and good luck if you get on Ultra Breaks.